Back at it again with another one. We are going to be doing another game findings. And I just recorded the game finding number 7. And so we're going to be rolling into game finding number 8, which will be about another set of, I think, 10 games, maybe 11. So definitely looking forward to that. But let's jump into the first. This first game is called Shroom and Gloom. Now, I am a sucker for different art styles within gaming. I love whenever people are very unique. And as much as I very much enjoy like cel-shaded art styles in certain games, I think one of my favorite styles is where you're in a 3D world, but everything looks 2D. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the cartooniness of it all. But I've always really enjoyed that aesthetic a lot. And this is that, right? So this is Shroom and Gloom. Gather and grow cards. Oh, well, that's new to me. Gather and grow cards in Shroom and Gloom. Moody first person. Roguelite. Double deck builder. Okay, I don't know where the double comes from, but I guess we'll find out soon. Bursting with fungal foes and mountains of mega combos. So this is a deck builder game, and I mean, it's been a minute since I've played a solid deck builder. I don't know, maybe I don't remember what the last one was. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But I do love deck builders; they're super fun. And again, the aesthetic of this really looks awesome. But let's go ahead and jump into the trailer.
Descend into the underrealm, where danger wears a
so
mushroom
freaking cool.
cap, and the key to victory is just a card away. Shroom and Gloom is a first-person roguelike double deck builder.
See, what's the
bursting
double?
with fungal foes and mountains of mega combos. Build 2 distinct decks. Use the Explore deck to navigate dungeons, modify your card,
that's new.
and unearth new weapons.
That's
Switch to the combat deck to hack, slash, roast, and eat the strange creatures that stand in your way. Choose your cards carefully.
It looks like you're playing a VR game, to be honest.
Discover unholy synergies. Fight to reach the Gloom one move at a time. Every decision matters. Every card could be the difference between victory or a new beginning. Shroom and Gloom. Play the demo now and see how far your decks can take you.
Well, it's a Devolver game, so you already know that's going to be riddled with some type of humor. So that's going to be really awesome. I do love Devolver games a lot, mainly just for the humor aspect of it. I mean, honestly, they release, they're really good. They have a really good track record. But the demo is currently out. It does not have a release date, from what I believe. No release date just yet. But the demo is out, so if that does appeal to you, then do check this game out. All right, rolling into a survival game, survival open world game. This is No More Light. And whenever I saw the very first image of what it shows on the trailer a bit ago, the very first thing that it reminded me of was Kaiju number 9, which is a great anime. But that's neither here nor there. But this is No More Light. No More Light is a narrative survival shooter where humanity's last remnants battle an alien insectoid invasion. Thrown into a post-apocalyptic world. You'll turn enemies into weapons. Okay. Undergo a deadly metamorphosis, control weather, and fight for survival in a brutal high-stakes combat. I mean, goddamn, that sounds really interesting. In general, just that description alone. But no release date. And again, a survival open world. Let's jump into the trailer. Look at that. It's Kaiju. Now, where I am very confused is the metamorphosis that you go through. Can you turn into Kaiju number 9? It kind of seems like you could turn into something. Holy shit. What the heck? There was a person there. All right, hold on. I don't want to jump into the next trailer. But there's a lot of questions I have. Because this game seems to have a lot going on with it, which is not a bad thing. The fact that this is a survival open world game, I can't imagine that there's a crafting aspect to it. This really reminds me a lot of, what is that? There was a PlayStation game that recently came out. It reminds me of a roguelike game, I should say. I can't remember what the name is, but I don't know. I can't imagine that. I mean, it doesn't say anything about crafting, but I can't imagine it just being a straight up survival game, because I imagine most survival games you have to like make a base and things like that. But this really just does seem to be like a shooter, right? But what really intrigues me the most about this is just the different, essentially metamorphoses that you can go through. It does seem like they play. I'm hoping that you can randomly grab them and just see what works for you, but it seems like there might be more so an organized like order of everything that you get. But in general, this game looks like it's going to be pretty crazy. The fact that you do have that metamorphosis and the fact that you're going to have these abilities, I just cannot wait to see what those abilities are as they come. But this was no more light, no release date, and it is it says single player and online co-op. So that, again, just raises a lot more questions. But until this game gets closer, I guess we won't really know. And hopefully we get a release date sometime in the very near future. All right, this next game is called Lifted. And this is a platformer game, which I always love platformer games. I don't play them as often as I would like to, but I definitely am a huge fan of platformer games. So get lifted. Play as a slacker, Ari, an accidental wingman in his professor's manic, love-fueled time heist. Swing, climb, and puzzle through history to outsmart rival Tomb Raiders in a cinematic 80s blockbuster adventure. So let's go ahead and jump into the trailer.
Faster! 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 Oh, no!
Just a little bit.
How did we get ourselves in this pickle? Well, I had just
The old
finished
cliche.
constructing my time machine when all of a sudden, Ari, good to see you.
I do love that they've embodied the Rayman style of modeling the characters.
It's part of a historical moment where the sands will shift under our very feet.
You can tell they got their inspiration from a lot of those games.
Forward, demonstrating unbridled genius from which the world will never be the same again. Yes, it's part of extra credit. You did it!
Yeah, we definitely need a lot more of these games.
Use your head, Ari.
No one takes a clue from Giovanni Battista Belzoni.
Oh no, I really don't like the boss.
For you, however, this is the end.
Is that the princess you're trying to save that's next to him?
Oh, this is gonna hurt!
They do have a very lovely little cinematic like aspect to it from what it seems with some of the gameplay. So that's really cool, especially whenever you had games that come out like Split Fiction and games that, that developer created. So that's always a refreshing thing to see. So this game comes out Q1 2026. So again, if you enjoy it, do wishlist it. So I saw the trailer for this next game. I saw the trailer it's been a while, but I saw it in a big event. It was either the Game Awards or it was what is that? Gamescom, right? Yeah, maybe that. There's another event that happens. It's just not coming to mind. But when I saw this game, I was just like, okay, this game is a game that I absolutely need in my life. Now, I say a lot of, when it comes to like the art styles of the different games, I always say a lot of like, oh, I really enjoy, comic book styles. I really enjoy 2D or 3D games where it looks like 2D. And I really enjoy like other styles of games. I enjoy a lot of different styles of game. I'm an artist, at heart. So, but to me, nothing beats hand drawn. Maybe claymation. Maybe claymation. Let me rephrase that. Maybe claymation games to me probably in my head do beat like hand drawn style, but hand drawn is just an incredible thing. To be able to create games fully with hand-drawn things, I can only imagine how much time and effort it takes. So I give full respects, and this is one of those games. So this is The Eternal Life of Goldman. But let's get into the trailer because this game is gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Remember when you first met him?
Man.
I can't say I ever met him. It's more like he burst in like a hurricane.
Oh, like last week when the roofs across the street got blown away?
I was certainly blown away. I remember thinking he was the first beautiful person I had ever seen in my life.
Child, look at that. My goodness.
Actually, he was in his early 30s then.
Isn't it bad to be
Holy
greedy?
And he'd never shut up
shit.
about that stupid treasure. He kept studying his maps, poring over his notes, over and over and over again.
What's wrong with treasures?
He may be an old man to you.
I don't know if this is a trailer that I saw.
On about treasure, I saw a boy.
What's wrong with
Oh
boys?
my god.
Was I not a fool for believing a boy?
Maybe he was just gonna...
I said, was I not a fool for believing a boy?
Oh,
I
dude.
don't know.
We already know who the final boss
I
is.
guess if the treasure...
Can't you hear what I am telling you? He dreamed of nonsense. He was greedy for nonsense. He was cruel because of nonsense. He filled my head with nonsense, and I believed in nonsense. And one
Jeez,
day,
I
Mom,
just...
if you don't want...
I'm
one day
so
he will
excited
come
for
back
this
and pay
game
for
to come out.
everything. Do you understand me or not?
Whew. I mean, I had no words for this game. Even with the trailer, which I imagine is going to bleed, like what they're doing with the story is going to bleed into what actually happens within the game and like the storyline behind it. I mean, again, it just makes you really wonder what the heck, where they're going with it, right? Because whenever you got the main character, you're just like, oh, they're always good. And I imagine that that's probably going to be the case. But in general, just to have that aspect, I'm really hoping that they keep that the narration of like the kid and the mom in it as you go through it. So then it just keeps you guessing. Because I have learned that I love that. I love a game that keeps you engaged and keeps you like questioning what the heck is going on. Like again, one of my absolute favorite games of all time. And till this day, my absolute favorite game is Inmost. The storytelling within that game is one of the most beautiful things. This, again, I've said this in so many different videos. I've said this in so many different streams before. Inmost was the one game that actually, while streaming, and mind you, I'm not some macho man. I don't hide my emotions. I don't, like, it's just not, it's not, whenever obviously I have people watching me, I don't get as sappy as I would whenever I'm, sitting alone somewhere, right? So Inmost was the one game that actually brought me to tears. Like I could not hold back. It was just, the ending was just so goddamn beautiful. But I have high hopes that they're going to do the same thing with this game, so where I mean, you don't even need a sad ending. You just need something to where you're engaged story-wise, where they are just really keeping you there. And I think that that's what's going to happen here. And I really, really hope so. I'm so sad that it does not have a release date. But again, I can't imagine it's easy to make a game like this. And I'm not angry over the fact that we don't have a release date, for the simple fact that I just want them to take their time with it, perfect it, and just give us a banger of a game. So that was The Eternal Life of Goldman, and let's move on to the next. So with this next game, I've actually been seeing a lot of this game on my feeds, and I definitely wanted to speak on this because I'm fairly impressed on how it's going. One quick thing, let me check. Okay, it does not seem that they use AI, which is even more impressive, honestly. Again, I mad respect these days to any developers that refuse to actually go down the route of AI. I know I talk about it a lot, but again, to me, it's just like, it's one of those things that eventually it's just going to become a plague because it is going to overtake a lot. But this is a game that I've been seeing a lot on a lot of my social media feeds, and it deserves a lot of exposure for sure. So this is being developed by a single person. It is called Erased. And I would say that it can be confusing, or it was confusing to me, just the gameplay aspect of it, because you don't know whether you're dealing with just an adventure game, something that's kind of like Jet Set Radio, or if you're dealing with an actual fighter. Because the combat is it resembles a lot of Tekken. So if you have both of those two things mixed in, then that's just going to be crazy. If you can deliver that, it's going to be absolutely insane. So I just don't have words to really put into how I'm thoroughly impressed where they're going with this game, honestly. So this is Erased. Erased is a dark psychological thriller where teens uncover the truth after their memories were erased. Explore a cyberpunk open world that blends fighting game combat, parkour, and rollerblading. Embrace hip-hop, Afro beats, and K-pop while following a mind-bending dream-based lore. So let's jump into the trailer. So being developed by a single person, which is wild.
Sometimes I don't know if I'm dreaming.
And look at these models. I mean, they're thick.
I can't remember what happened. It's like we were frozen in time. The rules were simple. Walk backwards at night. Sleep
Really odd thing.
during the day. And never, ever dream.
It really gives me some Death Stranding like lore. Capture pets? What the heck?
This city.
God damn, that is wild.
I think it is.
That is new to me. That is crazy. The combat looks insanely good too.
They locked us away like lab rats. We're gonna kill them. Every
Hell yeah, we
last
are.
one of them.
The whole walking backwards at night really has me confused, but that's okay. I'm sure we'll figure it out on the day. But again, what? That threw me for a loop. I say this a lot with some of these games because I do feel like a lot of them they have like this crazy concept where they want to throw a lot of genres, and I think at times you can bite off a little more than you can chew, right? And it's not necessarily the fact that you can't do it. Like, these games can get developed. I mean, there's a lot of examples of it. But it's more so the fact that if you do too much, you're not refining you're not refining like all the elements of your game. So some of them are just going to come out as lackluster. I really hope that's not the case with this. Again, this being developed by one person, obviously there are going to be some jank to the game, but I mean that's it's okay as long as it's not as long as it's not very dull, then that's great. But the fact that he developed all this stuff himself is wild. But like I said before, the combat looks insane. The parkouring, the jet set radio styled movement in it. I'm very interested in the lore of how, like, where they're going to go with the direction of the story. But overall, like, this seems like it's going to be a great game. And kudos to just him being able to develop this whole thing on his own. It seems like solo developers are starting to become more common. And I really love to see what they come out with. But this has no release date. And I imagine, I mean, I wouldn't hold it against him if it took him a while to create this, especially just working on his own. But super excited to see it. Put it on the wish list if you're interested yourself, and we're moving on to the next one. So this next game is going to be a very short and sweet game, right? There was a little bit of time, a few weeks ago, where I was thinking to myself, I was just like, man, it was while I was just searching through something to play. I really, again, lean a lot towards like survival crafting games, just because it's something that you can lose yourself in. You can just do some stuff here, put it down, come back to it later, whenever you can. And just like the feeling of progression is always such a great thing whenever you do survival crafting games. But I was thinking to myself, just like, okay, we have a lot of survival crafting games that, are kind of meant for multiplayer, kind of meant for cooperative. And although you can play them single player, but it's kind of a lot whenever you play them with just a single person. And one of the games that I absolutely loved, and you're going to see it in the description here, is I absolutely loved The Long Dark. That was such a fun game. That was such a great game. The way that they just created the game where, you have the story, you have your objectives, and as you're trying to survive this crazy winter place, you're slowly uncovering everything that's going on. It's a really beautiful game. And I was thinking to myself, I was just like, man, I really want another game like that. But there's not a lot of games that are really geared towards single player that are survival crafting games. Then I ran across this one. This is Polyaris. Survive the Arctic in this first-person single-player game. Move by skis and boat. Stay warm, dry, and hydrated. Loot what's left behind. Fight enemies and escape the lonely north by any means. For fans of The Long Dark and other similar survival games. So that is me. That is definitely me. So this is a very, very short trailer that we're going to jump into, but I feel like it depicts everything it's going to have in the game. Now, hopefully they do add some story behind it. They give you some quests and things that you need to do without it just being get from point A to point B. But I mean, I imagine they're going to. So let's check out the trailer. I mean, already you get that. To me, traveling by skis is going to be very interesting. Now, again, very short, very sweet. Shows you exactly what you're going to be getting in the game. There is no release date. Oh, no, Q1, 2026. So hopefully we'll get more information as it comes out. If you enjoy the game, definitely follow it. But I'm curious to see what other elements, aside from the cold in a polar bear, is going to be what you have to worry about. Because it looks like you get an arsenal of things. And it looks like there were a lot of areas that possibly have some crazy creatures going on in it. So I'm a massive fan of more like fantasy sci-fi things. So if you give me some crazy creatures in there, I think this is definitely a sell for me. But let's move on to the next one. So this next game actually hits so close to home. Let me bring you back to an era of Nintendo 64. if you're as old as I am, you would remember how wonderful that gaming system was. I mean, hell, I still have my N64, and I would be more than happy to plug it up and play it because it's still extremely fun to play. But there were some iconic games that came on the Nintendo 64, one of which is very similar to this game. Well, I would say that this game is very similar to that game, which I'm pretty sure it's paying homage to the game that I'm speaking of. But the game that I am talking about is Star Fox 64. And although there has been a lot of, like, I guess flight games was what you would consider it, flying games, airplane games, jet games, things like that. It doesn't seem like there has been a lot of games that have been too similar to Star Fox. I'm sure there's a handful, and none that I can think off the top of my head. But I mean, that Star Fox has always been just the pinnacle of that genre of game. And they made another Star Fox, I think a few years, maybe a handful of years after, but I don't think it was received as well as, Star Fox 64. But Star Fox 64, again, was just pinnacle of gaming. That game is one of the greatest games to have ever existed. And it seems like it was a game that was really made somewhat simply because you have your plane and you're just moving across the screen as it's, I forget what it's called whenever you're kind of in like a roller coaster style where you don't move yourself, but it's moving itself with you. I know there's a name for that mechanic, but it's not coming to mind. But yeah, again, Star Fox, pinnacle. Though that style of game was always super fun to play, and it had a lot of replayability. So you can go back, do different routes and all this other stuff, look for all these little secrets and things within the stages. But I loved Star Fox, and I have waited long time for a game to come out that is somewhat similar to it. So this brings us here. This is Wild Blue Skies. Wild Blue Skies reimagines the classic on-rail. There you go. I probably should have read that. On-rail adventures of the 90s. Join Bowie Stray and the Blue Bombers as they soar through the skies on a mission to save the world in this action-packed nostalgic journey. And it is going to be super nostalgic for me. But let's jump into the trailer. And they already have something like on hand with the fact that they made this into kind of a cartoon. Hell, you can go so many places with this, especially if the game does really well. Oh yeah. Row. Oh my god, what jet? I mean, come on, Chunk. Gonna have to put those thrusters into overdrive. Really well animated too. Oh my goodness. Just looking at this already takes me back.
Coming up on the islands.
Oh dude, they even added the whole the way that they had the dialogue in Star Fox.
Thanks, Bowie. I thought I was done for.
Oh no, not the rival jets. Oh, this is just so, almost brings a tear to my eye. I also really love the fact that, because Star Fox in itself, it's in space, so it's kind of a given. But Star Fox in itself was a really dark game. Not dark as in like it had like dark themes to it, but dark as in it was just very dark. Like a lot of the game was in very dark areas. But this one has such vibrant colors to it that it kind of like, it appeals to me a little more. So that was Wild Blue Skies. I am really hoping that they really hit this one out of the park, because I have not played a Star Fox 64 style game pretty much since Star Fox 64, if I'm not mistaken. So just give me that. Give me, different routes, different replayability, and I'm pretty sure I'm freaking sold. So If you like this, no release date, unfortunately. But again, not angry about it. I don't know what just happened there. Not angry about it, but yeah, wishlist it. And hopefully it comes. They give us some new announcements sometime soon. All right, this next game is Revelation of Decay. I have actually been sitting on this demo for a bit, and I've been meaning to play and record it, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Whether I will or won't, I have no idea, but we will see. So, Revelation of Decay is a zombie survival game that's less scary and a bit lively. Explore this pixelated world full of bizarre anomalies, awaken supernatural powers, and amid endless zombie hordes and mutated monsters. Gradually uncover the truth behind the invasion. So let's get into the demo. And again, another very beautifully animated game, honestly. I'm gonna put the audio on this a little down because who knows if this is copyrighted music. Hopefully not, but we shall see. So the one thing I will say is playing through games that were like Core Keeper. If you have not played these top-down pixelated games, I've learned that they're extremely fun, honestly. Like, I've had such a good time playing a lot of the ones that I have played myself. So I imagine that I can only imagine this is going to be super fun too. And there's seemingly a lot going on with it. And some of these boss fights look freaking crazy. Really makes me think a lot of Into the Gungeon. But I think that this is what appeals to me the most, is truly the boss fighting of the game. But again, that was Revelation of Decay. Demo is out. As I said, I have been sitting on it for a bit. No true release date, but it might be coming in 2026. All right, so this game I actually just came across recently. Now, this game appeals to me for a lot of different reasons. One, if you've ever played a game called, or ever seen a game called At Dead of Night. No, excuse me. It was a really, really great horror game. It was pretty much like a film made into a game, which was super awesome. Now, this one doesn't seem to be the same. I'm sure it does seem to have aspects of, like, you know, they recorded things in like a VHS. But it seems more to be just like a 3D game, right? But in general, like, just having this VHS aspect of it does really remind me a lot of At Dead of Night. But it seems to have a lot of elements to it that's going to really, really make it fun. So this is Dead Format. Dead Format is a survival horror game set in iconic film eras. It's 1990s Scotland, and your brother has gone missing. Oh, yeah. And your brother has gone missing after becoming obsessed with a mysterious new VHS format. Follow his trail through the tapes and uncover why the government wants to ban video gaslies. Now, this one does have a release date, December 10th, 2025. So it's actually right around the corner, which is crazy. I did not know that this was coming out so soon. But let's jump into the trailer. Oh, God, that is just already creeping me out. See this? All the different seeming dimensions that you're going to go through, I'm sure, are going to be super intriguing. And I'm excited to see the incredible acting that they put on in these VHS tapes. Now that gun is something else, though. Oh shit, yeah, violin as a weapon. Oh no. But that was dead format. And again, see if we can clear that up. And again, this one is coming out December 10th, so very much right around the corner. And maybe even, well, I don't know when I'm going to be releasing this video, but hopefully before December 10th. But we will see. But on to the next one.
Hey, listen!
So this will be the last to the list. And following the theme of survival horror, essentially, we have Ardem. Ardem is an immersive open-world survival RPG set in an interactive world ravaged by a deadly virus. Alone with friends, explore handcraft abandoned locations, gather resources, build bases, repair vehicles, and restore civilization through the power of electricity. Now, this one is a pretty long trailer, but it does seem like it's going to be a pretty crazy game, to be honest. So let's get into it. Oh shit, they did a revamp. Wow, that is a wild revamp, honestly. I wonder how that is even possible to go from straight low poly to high poly. Damn. I mean, I'm a fan of low poly games. I wouldn't really mind if it was a low poly game, but at the same time, it is really nice to look at all this beautiful scenery. So if I'm not mistaken, the RV is essentially your base. I don't know if you actually like settled down somewhere, but I think you build up the RV in one way or another from what I saw in different forms of media with this. Damn, they made this super cinematic. Okay. So being able to go into different houses, I imagine just scavenge for items and stuff is going to play a big part of this game, which is awesome. Love that. All right, we are going to skip ahead because I think for the most part, a lot of this stuff isn't going to be too crazy. And then the fog rolls in. Well, damn. Made this into a short film is essentially what they did. So it seems surviving isn't easy. All right. Well, again, this is Ardem. I mean, it says they had a visual update. That's pretty wild. I mean, they never released anything before this. I mean, maybe they had a small playtest to it. But again, I'm pretty impressed that they went from low to high poly, which is wild. I mean, the game looks beautiful. But yeah, this is Ardem. Seems like it's going to be a pretty fun game. Hopefully, again, like I said, with pretty much anything, hopefully they deliver because I absolutely love survival games a lot. I really do. And this one, if you're just moving around through an RV, which that I would say that that's probably my biggest question, because it does say that you get to establish a base, which I think at the end that's pretty much probably what they were, right? But it looks like it was just a camp. A lot of questions, definitely a lot of questions, but I guess we'll get answers the further we get along to the completion of the game. So again, no release date. But I mean, it's looking really nice. It looks like they got some good stuff going on. And we'll see how it goes as it comes down the pipeline. But if this interests you, again, with any of these games, if they interest you, then please do hit them with a wish list. And 1 second, I do want to check some. Okay, no use of AI, which again, I mean, like I said, I just want to point that out if it is there. But again, this was Ardem, and this was the last one on the list. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. And as I said before in the video before this one, I am going to try to think of other ways of making this a little, making this a little more unique, a little more entertaining instead of just going through Steam pages and jumping through games, which right now it's kind of just the easiest way of getting this out because games flood in constantly. Like there's just so many games that come out, so many games that it's so hard for me to keep up with. And like, I'm trying to get a lot of these videos out with games that haven't released yet, which is another thing that's tough because sometimes the release dates will just come. I mean, they'll just pop up out of nowhere. Sometimes the developers are just like, we're going to release it next week whenever they didn't have a release date before. So I'm trying to find the easiest way to be able to edit these things and get through them without making it so just like cookie cutter, you know? But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And for now, I'll be releasing these videos whenever I can, and on top of releasing some of the gameplay videos that I have. So as I said before, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in the next one.